Hey guys, what's up? It's Allison, and I'm coming at you with my January book wrap up. And I am in the car right now because I am on a little family trip, and we are in a little tiny cabin, and I do not want everybody hearing me make this video. 6 books this month, which is pretty good for me. My reading goal for this year is 65 books, so I am on track for that. Hopefully I can stay on track. And yeah, let's just get right into it. So the first book that I read, I don't have the physical copies of the first couple that I read because they are back home. But the first book that I read is The Last Flight by, I believe it's Julie Clark. And I gave this book a 4 stars. This was kind of one of the more monotone type of books that I read this month. This book follows Claire Cook, and she has this perceived perfect life. She's married to a politician, and she has all these luxurious things and everything, and she decides that she needs to get out of this life. Her husband is abusive, and she's just not enjoying herself anymore, but she is scared to run away because she knows that he can track her anywhere. So she comes up with this very calculated plan to leave the US. It doesn't end up working. So last minute she swaps flights with this girl named Eva. And things just start going down from there. The plane supposedly crashes and they have no idea what's happening. I don't know if any of that makes sense, but basically she's just running from the truth. And I gave this book a 4 stars because I feel like there wasn't much going on in the book. It was kind of just, I don't know. I feel like there wasn't a lot of plot development. I feel like there wasn't a lot of crazy things happening. It was still a good story. It just didn't have as much going on for me as I would like it to. Next, I read Dark Matter. Blake Crouch. This is a little bit different than the other books that I've read. It's a psychological thriller type of mystery. I gave this book a 5 stars, and I really was not expecting that because I do not usually read these types of books. It is just absolutely mind-blowing, crazy, this book has sat in my mind. I've thought about it since I read it in the beginning of January. So this book follows Jason Dessen, and he basically gets kidnapped one night by a guy. He has no idea what's going on, and he has a wife, he has a kid, he is a professor somewhere, and all of a sudden he gets kidnapped, and he wakes back up in this world that's his but not his. He doesn't have the wife, he doesn't have the kid. Most of his life's normal, but like the details have changed, and he doesn't understand what's going on. And the main question that the guy asks him before he knocks him out is, are you happy with your life? And then that's basically all I'm going to tell you. You should really go into this book blind because I had no idea. I had no prediction of what was going to happen or why he was waking up in this alternate reality. And it's kind of a mystery for the first half of the book. And you just keep learning more and more and keep trying to understand what's going on. And by the end of the book, it's just absolutely like insane what is going on. So I highly, highly recommend that. You will think about this book for long after you read it. I mean, I just couldn't even contemplate what was going on. I really had to sit there and be like, wow, this is crazy. The third book I read was the Mind F series by S.T. Abbey. And I gave this a 4.75. This book was very chunky because it was 5 books in one. 5 novellas in one. And this was about Lana Myers, who is a serial killer. And she falls for an FBI agent, I believe, or an FBI detective. And he is working on her case and trying to figure out who the killer is. And she is the killer. Like, if that plot doesn't get you, then I don't know what else will. Like, I loved it. The only reason I gave it a 4.75 because I didn't get that 5-star feeling with it. I still absolutely loved it. And I just loved thinking like, oh, when is he going to find out she's the killer? Why is she killing? all of that. It is a bit gory. It is a bit kind of detailed. But I just feel like the writing was a little bit immature for my taste and kind of cringy at some points. But other than that, I thought it was a great storyline and I absolutely loved it, and I highly recommend that book. It took me a while to get through because obviously it's super long, but I still highly recommend that. And then we have another 5-star read, which is The Truth About Love by Maisie Myers. And this book I don't believe you can get on Barnes & Noble or anything, but I got it off of Amazon because I saw that Rachel Catherine gave it a 5 stars. And this book follows Summer Rain and Auden, I think. And basically it talks about their love for each other. She moves into his town and they're super young and they just develop this love for each other. And they start dating and then something ends up splitting them up. And they are just basically, it's the whole timeline of their life as they're growing up and they just cannot find the right time to be together. It's like, right person, wrong time, I guess, trope. And it is just absolutely heartbreaking. I would get so excited for them and then it would just shatter my heart and then it just kept going back and forth and back and forth. I loved the characters. I feel like a lot of romance books, like, you don't really get too involved with their romance. Like, you know, it's kind of just like a shallow attraction. But with this book, you could really, really tell that the characters absolutely loved each other and they loved each other more than anything else. And that's why I gave this book a 5 stars. I just felt like it really evoked a lot of emotion out of me. I would definitely check trigger warnings though, because it does have a lot of talk about depression and stuff like that, but they do also do a great portrayal of that, and just kind of bringing up awareness about depression and stuff like that. But I gave that book a 5 stars. I highly, highly, highly recommend it, and the cover is beautiful too. I will put it somewhere over here. But yeah, I absolutely love that book, and I feel like I gave a lot of books 5 stars this January, but these books that I were reading were just amazing. Like, I was so lucky to have a bunch of high rated books this month. Speaking of high rated books, the next book I read was Magnolia Parks, which I gave a 4.85, and honestly, it could have been a 5 stars, but it just wasn't because I started to get really annoyed with the main guy, BJ. This book follows Magnolia and BJ, and they are soulmates. They love each other, but BJ did something terrible to Magnolia, and she can't forgive him for it. And it's just basically just their toxic relationship going back and forth. She's dating guys, he's sleeping with girls, but they still have this undeniable bond and chemistry with each other. And a lot of people say this is like Gossip Girl. I think it takes place in the UK, but I completely agree. They are definitely super toxic, but the drama, I could just eat it up. Like, it is so, so, so entertaining. And there are 3 more books in that series so far, and I cannot wait to read them, because while they aren't the ideal relationship, they are so entertaining. And the whole friend group in that book is just like so entertaining. It's like I'm watching a TV show. Like, I absolutely love that book, and I could have given it 5 stars if it wasn't for the ending where BJ absolutely made me so mad. But anyways, and then we're gonna go to the last 2 books, which I do have physical copies of. Oh, actually it was this one, Magnolia Parks, everybody, by Jessa Hastings. And the cover is absolutely, like, it's a little weird, but once you start reading it, all of these different things on this cover are components of the story. And the big kind of message is, how many loves do you get in a lifetime? Because she has so many guys falling in love with her. She has just got everybody under her finger. And I don't know. I highly, highly, highly recommend this book. It is so, so entertaining. And then the last book that I read, which was literally the last day of January, I finished this, was If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. And I gave this book also 4 stars. I heard Sarah Caroli literally just absolutely loved this book, and I was so excited to read it, and I heard that it was super heartbreaking. And it is, but I was just not involved enough with the story. I feel like this book could have been shorter, or they could have done something else with it. I don't know. But this is about Autumn and Finn, and they are best friends. Their mothers are best friends, so they're basically like family. And they end up splitting apart. Like, they're friends, they're super close. They end up kind of going their own ways in high school. She becomes kind of like a weirdo. He becomes a popular kid, but she always has this attraction for him. And something happens with Finn, which you know is going to happen throughout the whole book, and you're kind of wondering, well, why it happened or what caused it. And that's basically the premise of this book. I'm not going to say much, because kind of giving a little bit will give it all away. But I didn't enjoy how the whole story didn't focus on her and Finn. Like, she was so focused on this other guy that didn't even really matter in the grand scheme of things, and I thought that was kind of stupid. But there is going to be another book from Finn's perspective, which I'm absolutely super excited to read. And the ending of this book will absolutely tear you apart. So just keep that in mind when you're reading this. So that is all the books that I have for you today. If you guys have any recommendations for me, comment them down below. And I do have another video planned for this month, and I will see if I can film that right and get that to you guys. But until then, I will see you guys later, and bye.